Hi guys, welcome to my channel Creatively Expressive. My name is Amy and today I'm sharing some super cute and easy Easter DIYs that I made using items from the Dollar Tree and Hobby Lobby. I am loving the way that these turned out and I hope you guys will love them too. If you're new to my channel, welcome. I'm so glad you found me and I hope you'll consider becoming a part of my creative family by subscribing to my channel. And if you're a returning subscriber, welcome back, and I just want to say that I really do appreciate your continued support. Now let's get started. For my first project, I will be using these unfinished wooden bunnies that I got from Hobby Lobby at 40% off. And for the second project, I will be using the shadow box sign that I got from the Dollar Tree. The reason I'm showing everything for the first and second projects together is because I will be pairing them together for display. I will also be using a piece of gray vinyl and these Easter scrapbook papers that I got from Hobby Lobby. I'm going to remove the stickers from the bunnies, and then I'm going to position the bunnies so that they are facing each other and then trace them onto the backs of the two matching bunny scrapbook papers. Once I have traced them, I will cut them out with a pair of scissors. Then I'm going to paint the backs and sides of each bunny with the color Elephant Gray. Once the paint has dried, I am going to use Mod Podge to adhere the scrapbook papers to the fronts of the bunnies. After both bunnies have been covered with the scrapbook papers, I will go over the tops of the papers with another coat of Mod Podge to protect the paper, and then let the Mod Podge dry. Now I'm going to go through my stash of florals and find some flowers and greenery that I think will match the flowers that are on the scrapbook paper that I will be using on the next project. I am trying to match the paper from project number 2 because, like I said earlier, I will be pairing project 1 and 2 together. So I just grabbed some florals and I laid them out on my table, and I'm just playing around with them to see which ones I like best to be placed around the neck area of my bunnies. And then I will use hot glue to attach them to my bunnies. Once I have all my florals placed and glued where I like them, project number 1 is complete. But I am going to wait to show you guys the final reveal until after I've completed project number 2, so hang tight. Now for project number 2, or the second part of project number 1, I will be taking the shadow box from Dollar Tree apart, and then using a razor blade to scrape the wording off of the glass. And the wording comes off pretty easily with just a little bit of pressure. Now the only thing holding that raised area to the back of the sign is a little screw, so I'm just going to remove that screw. Now I want to cover that back piece of the sign with scrapbook paper. I want to cover it with a specific area of the scrapbook paper, so I'm going to use that glass to find the area of the paper I want to use, and then trace around the glass with my pencil. Then I will cut that area out with scissors. Now, since the back of my sign will be protected by the frame and glass, I am just going to use a glue stick to attach the paper to the back of my sign. Then I will just use a screwdriver to poke a hole in that paper where that screw goes, and then put my sign back together. Now I'm going to measure that glass area of my sign, and then I found this image on Silhouette Design Store, and I will size it to fit that glass area, and then cut it out with my Silhouette Cameo 4. Then I will use transfer tape and parchment paper to place and attach that image to the front of my glass. Then just peel away that transfer tape and this little sign is complete. And here are projects 1 and 2 together. What do you guys think? For project number 3, I am using 3 of these white bunny signs with a wood texture on them that I found at Dollar Tree. 2 of the signs had a bit more of the brown wood peeking through, but the third one was more white. So I decided to sand the third one a bit to try to make it look a bit more like the other 2. Now I'm going to plug up the holes on the tops of those bunnies with some caulking. The way I do this is I place a piece of painter's tape over the tops of the holes on the fronts of my signs. Then I flip the signs over and fill the holes with caulking on the back side and then push it down into those holes. Then I let them dry overnight and remove the tape. This keeps the front of my signs clean and makes that caulking smooth and flush with the front of my signs. Now I'm going to paint one of my bunnies with a color called Caribbean, one with a color called Diva Pink, and one with a color called Lilac Mist. Now first I'm going to make a wash using each of these colors for my bunnies. To make a wash, I just add a bit of water to my paint and then mix it up. After brushing my wash over the bunny, I realized I added too much water, so I add more paint to my wash, and then I brush the wash over the bunny again. Now that I am happy with that aqua hue that the wash gave my bunny, I am going to take that same paint color, but not watered down, and dry brush it onto my bunny in certain areas. Then I am going to mix some white paint with the Caribbean color and dry brush that color over my bunny. I make sure to get that lighter shade of aqua over the area where the holes were because I think that lighter color camouflages the holes a little bit better. I repeat the same process with the other two bunnies using the pink and purple colors. One thing I ended up doing differently with the purple bunny though is that I ended up using 2 different purple colors instead of 1. The reason I did this is that after I used that Lilac Mist purple wash on my bunny, I realized that it was too light of a shade for the dry brushing. So for the dry brushing on the purple bunny, I ended up using this petunia purple color. For the pink bunny, I just used that one color for the entire process like I did with the aqua colored bunny. Now I use my cutting mat to line up my 3 bunnies so I can glue them together. For the outer 2 bunnies, I line the bottom of their feet up with that bottom line on my mat. And for the center bunny, I line the bottom of his feet up with the bottom of the mat. Now I'm going to use a pencil to trace underneath that center bunny onto the back 2 bunnies so that I know where to put my glue. I don't know if you can tell by the video, but I am not tracing the edge of the bunny, but I am going underneath that bunny with my pencil because I do not want to see any of the pencil lines. Now I just take some Starbond super glue and put it on those areas that I marked off with the pencil. And then I carefully place that center bunny on top of the back 2 bunnies. What I love about this Starbond glue is that it dries in like less than a minute. And no, I'm not sponsored, I just really like this glue. Now that my bunnies are glued together, I went into my Silhouette Design Studio and I designed this hippity hoppity decal for that center bunny. I made my decal to fit into a 4x4 area to fit my bunny. And now I'm just going to use transfer tape and parchment paper to attach my decal to my bunny. And then at this point, I realized I should not have plugged those 2 outermost holes on my sign because I need those to attach my hanger. So I'm just going to use a screwdriver to remake those holes. And now I want each of my bunnies to have a big fluffy tail, so I'm going to use my Clover pom-pom maker to make the tails. Dollar Tree also sells a pom-pom maker just like the Clover one. To make a pom-pom, you'll want to open up one end of your pom-pom maker and start wrapping your yarn around it, being sure to keep your yarn in that center area only. The more yarn you wrap around it, the fuller your pom-pom will be. Once your first side is full, you'll want to close that side back up and then open the other side of your pom-pom maker. Don't cut your piece of yarn, just pull it over to the second side and continue wrapping until your second side is nice and full. Once the second side is full, close it up and then cut that end of your yarn. Now I take a pair of scissors and cut right down the center of my wrapped yarn on both sides. And then I'll take another piece of yarn and I'm going to wrap it around that center area of my pom-pom maker. You'll see a little gap and that is where you want your piece of yarn to go. And then you'll pull your yarn tight and tie it into a knot. I tie 3 knots just to be safe. open back up both of those rainbow shaped sides of the pom-pom maker and then pull the pom-pom maker apart at the center. And then you can just clean it up a bit with a pair of scissors. Now, at this point, I decide my pom-pom is just a little bit too big for my bunnies, so I repeat this whole process with a slightly smaller pom-pom maker. And I will make 3 total pom-poms of this new size. Now I'm going to use my hot glue gun to attach my tails to my bunny. At this point, all we need to do is make a hanger for the bunny sign. And I'm going to use this two-toned jute twine that I got at Dollar Tree last summer to make the hanger for my bunnies. So I just thread the twine through the holes to the back and tie a couple of knots, and this project is complete. Let me know what you guys think of this project. For our fourth and final project, I will be using 2 of these white egg signs from Dollar Tree and these flower wall decals that I also got from Dollar Tree. I'm going to use the 2 biggest flower decals and place one on each egg. I have a bit of overhang with my stickers, so I'm just going to use an X-Acto knife to cut that off. Then I go into my Silhouette Design Studio and design a small decal for each of my eggs. One is going to say Hello Spring and the other one will say Happy Easter. Then I will cut those out on stencil vinyl using my Silhouette Cameo 4 and attach my stencils to my eggs using transfer tape and parchment paper. When I was removing the transfer tape from the egg with the purple flowers, I accidentally tore my sticker a little bit. So be careful not to do that like I did. Now I'm going to choose a pink and purple paint color that I think will look good with my flowers. And I decide to use the colors Purple Iris and Bright Magenta. So before I paint on my chosen colors, I'm going to paint on a layer of Mod Podge over my stencils to seal in the edges of my stencils and prevent my paint colors from bleeding under the stencil. Once the Mod Podge is dry, I'm going to use the pink color on the egg with the purple flowers and the purple color on the egg with the pink flower. And once the paint has dried, I'm going to peel away my stencil. And now I'm going to fix that spot on my purple flowers that was torn by my transfer tape. Luckily, the wall decal set comes with some small single flowers along with the larger ones. So I'm just going to choose one that will cover that tear and stick it on top of that area. This ends up looking pretty good, but if you're more careful than me, then you won't need to do this step. Now I'm going to make a bow for each of my signs, and I am using this ribbon that I got at Michael's after Christmas for 70% off. For this bow, I am going to form my ribbon into an awareness ribbon shape and then pinch the ribbon together at the center of that awareness ribbon shape. Then I use a pipe cleaner to hold my bow together. After I have my bow together, I decided that I wanted to add this bunny ribbon that I got at Hobby Lobby for 40% off to my bow. So I cut a piece of that ribbon about the length of the tails on my bow, then add that piece into my bow by twisting that pipe cleaner around it with the rest of my bow. Now I'm going to take another piece of that lace ribbon and wrap it around the center of my bow and hot glue the ends to the back of the bow. And then I'm going to dovetail the tails of my bow. To make a dovetail, you fold the end of the tail in half and then cut at an angle. This will make a V shape in the center of your tails. And now I'm going to hot glue my bows to the tops of the egg signs. After doing this, I decided to add a small dot of hot glue under the ends of the tails on the egg so that the tails cannot fall over and hide the wording on the eggs. And now these signs are complete. What do you guys think of this one? Alright guys, that's it for today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed this video and I hope it's inspired you. If you did enjoy the DIYs that I've shared with you today, then please show me some love by giving me a thumbs up, commenting, or even sharing this video with anyone that you think might enjoy it. And I hope you guys have a great day and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!